Hello, and welcome to another episode of CN Live. I'm Colion NOIR. Virtual training has been used for a while to train law enforcement and military, but it's starting to pop up at public gun ranges. One of the gun ranges that uses virtual training is Virtual MARKSMAN in North Canton, Ohio. Terry VERBLE joins us live from there. How's it going, Terry?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So tell us about Virtual MARKSMAN.
Well, it's not a live fire range. I started looking 3 years ago for developing a live fire range, and I stumbled upon this law enforcement firearms training simulator. So I went to a couple demonstrations, and I thought how cool it was. And the great thing is it's not as expensive as a live fire range, and you can virtually put it anywhere. I can take it and put it in somebody's office. I can have the facility here. So it's very versatile, and it's a lot of fun too.
So if I heard you correctly, you started off looking out for a live fire range. Were you trying to actually build
Correct.
a gun range yourself?
I was thinking of it because I had space at a building.
Okay.
And after I started looking into the cost of it, I started finding virtual websites popping up. And so I decided to go check it out, and it was something that I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
So
And so prior to that, you hadn't had any experience with the virtual simulation?
no,
Okay.
no, I did not. So this was all new, but I've had it for this is going on my 4th year now.
You know, it's weird. It's interesting because it's kind of like, you know, with the way that games have gone now, it's interesting. It's only now that we're really kind of starting to see stuff like this pop up, considering the way how realistic or close to reality a lot of the gaming platforms have become, especially when we talk about first-person shooters. So it's interesting to see, you know, only at this point where things are kind of really skyrocketing towards people being more accepting of, you know, like you said, kind of a virtual reality shooting range. And so, is the overt focus on training, or is it just pure enjoyment, or is it kind of a mixture of both?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because when I started out, it was mostly geared towards training.
Okay.
There were so many people in Ohio that were getting their concealed carry. I thought this was going to be a natural thing. So I hired an instructor that was very capable. I advertised in the paper and hardly got any response at all. So along with this package I bought also has a zombie shoot. So my next advertising advertised the zombie shoot, and my phone started ringing off the hook. So from there, you know, we have birthday parties, we have girls' night out, just any kind of thing you can imagine on the entertainment side. And then, of course, we've had law enforcement, we've had SWAT teams here, we've had the U.S. Marshals, Violent Fugitive Task Force, just different ones that have used it for training, including companies, and even churches now have security groups that I wasn't aware of, but they're using the facility for that type of training as well. So it's both entertainment and training.
Gotcha. Now, why do you think, just from your perspective, why do you think that initially people weren't really kind of glomming onto the idea of getting involved in virtual training from a concealed carry standpoint? And it's kind of an obvious question, but I kind of want to get to a deeper aspect of why. You know, it seems to go hand in hand. You take into account the fact that you don't have to buy the ammo. It's clearly a lot cheaper, and you know, you get to kind of exercise certain aspects of your understanding of concealed carry that you would otherwise never be privy to. So why do you think that was the case, that most people kind of really weren't receptive to the idea of it as being a training platform, but then you make kind of this minor shift and make it kind of more entertainment focused, and now it kind of took off?
Well, I'm not really sure if it was an intimidation factor, if people thought it was only for law enforcement or military.
Gotcha.
Or they, you know, people would say, is this laser tag? Anytime you try to explain to someone on the phone, you know, the whole concept of it, they still don't even get it. So once people would come in and try it, and then word of mouth and that type of thing, then you started having more and more customers coming in for the concealed carry type training. To my mind, I think everybody that carries concealed should have this experience, because, I mean, it really makes you think before you pull the trigger.
That was going to be my
And
next.
when you do pull the trigger, you need to know where your bullets are going, and being able to go back to the scenarios and see the gunshots, your previous gunshots, it's really beneficial to see. Not only that, but the targeting is so much harder. I've had more than one instructor come in and say, I thought I could shoot until I shot this. Because you have people that are moving, you have people that are wearing jackets, bulletproof jackets. They're jumping out, they're shooting back at you. I've literally had people leave here soaking wet in sweat because they really get into the intensity of it. And it can be intense when you first do it. So. Yeah,
no, I trust me, I'm pretty sure I'd be one of those people who would be there for hours on end because I kept getting killed and wanted to kind of rectify myself. Now, let's talk about some of the technology involved in this. So, are we actually, what type of guns are we actually using?
Well, I actually have a sample for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's have it.
This is a SIG MK20. All right, so I'll try to get it on the camera here. It has a CO2 magazine. So when you pop that baby in and pull the trigger, try and get it up here.
Oh, wow.
You get
the actual recoil.
Recoil. It doesn't show up too well on the screen there, but you get a nice recoil. On the end, you see that there's a laser. So once the trigger is pulled, it causes the laser to hit a spot onto the screen, and then the screen registers as a gunshot.
Gotcha.
And then we also have an AR-15 with the same type of thing, CO2 recoil. And when you pull the trigger, you get a nice little pop out of it. I don't know if you can tell, but
we can hear it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So those are the guns. I have M&P and a Glock, and I also have a laser on the Glock, so we can, people that want to train with a laser, or guys with bad eyesight like mine. I love having the laser, so it does work with the system. And then it's just the scenarios and the software. So we have a entertainment package that has like shooting bottles. There's all kinds of timed competition. We have the Bianchi Cup that's on simulation. We have the zombie shoot. There's another one that's like a Call of Duty type scenario where you're going. They're like storylines. It takes 6-7 minutes.
Yeah.
And you go through a city, and there's all kinds of people jumping up at you all over the place. And
okay.
It's good for practicing, getting good trigger time.
So what is
trigger control is improved for me?
Really? So you've actually noticed a difference between practicing on the simulator and versus your real world performance with a real firearm. You noticed the improvements.
Definitely, because when you do more precision shots, your trigger control is really important. And when you go to the range, you shoot a static silhouette that you move forwards and backwards. And on this one, you're shooting bottles, you're shooting pepper poppers that are at a distance. So slight move of the trigger and you're off target. So I've really developed a good feel for the trigger. And I carry it over because I still do live fire, of course. This is not to replace it, it's to enhance it.
Gotcha. Now, just a couple of questions, kind of minor detail questions. In the scenarios that you've engaged in, where they're kind of where you've had to take certain precise shots, and in like a hostage or a type of mass shooter, or and I'm just assuming you have these scenarios.
Sure.
Do you remember at all? Do you recall what are some of the things that you have learned about what you do under that level of stress that you thought you would do otherwise? Like, for instance, do you remember seeing your sights? Things like that.
Well, I think the most important thing And, I haven't had a real situation, so I don't know if it'll carry over. But I would say try to stay as calm as you possibly can. And, there's a lot of people that see a target and they spray and pray, and that's not good. So, for instance, like this particular one you're seeing is a robbery at a store. That guy to the right there, he's been shot before. He's just sitting there pointing where to go. And these have already been shot, so you can see what happens.
Gotcha.
After when somebody shoots it.
Wow.
Okay, you see him blasting the guy. He's still not down. Okay, the nice thing is we can go back. Oh, she cut it off. You can go back and see the gunshots, where the bullets went, and there's a door back there. Somebody could be behind that door, so you want to be careful where your bullets are going.
Gotcha.
This one here, the scene's never over till it's over.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, a lot of people put their weapon down, they turn around, they're talking, and bam, she's got them.
Wow.
So
well, that
makes you think.
So now we're just out of time, but really quickly, kind of give people an idea of where they can go if they were interested in more of this virtual marksmanship.
Well, I'm located in North Canton, Ohio.
Okay.
So we're here 6 days a week, and we can accommodate different times. We can accommodate different training for people. If somebody has a security group or something like that, we can accommodate it. So.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. It was just incredibly intriguing just being able to see some of those scenarios. I think I need to do more of it myself, to be honest with you.
Stop on by.
Absolutely.
Love to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to learn about the new H9 from Hudson.